To the angel of the church in Ephesus write, this is from the ESV, the words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand, who walks among the 7 golden lampstands. And this begins the letters to the 7 churches. They're named in a circular order as someone carrying the message would travel throughout what is now Turkey. And each introduction begins with the same wording, to the angel of the church, and then in a certain city on that route, in order. And then it goes to give a part of the description of Jesus, who we saw in the first chapter was the author of all of these letters. It seems clear that in this case, the translation for angelos should have been messengers instead of angels. It's the same word in Greek, angels, messengers, and sometimes you have it used and translated different ways in your New Testament. But if the letter was to an angel, the angel would have no need for John to dictate it. They called the person who was delivering the message that particular Sunday, who was expounding on the passage, was referred to as the angelos. It was one of the elders of the local church. And so he needed it written because he wouldn't get it any other way than reading what John had written from Jesus. And from Acts 20, we know that there were numerous elders in the church of Ephesus. And in fact, the Apostle John, who's writing this down, would in the last decades of his life be one of those elders, the chief elder at Ephesus. Ephesus was a city that's estimated to have a population, some estimates are as high as 500,000 people. Quite a large city. The Colosseum, where Aristarchus and Gaius were tried in Acts 19, has been uncovered, and it seats 25,000 people. It was a port city. Though the city itself was located 3 miles up the Cayster River, there was a colonnaded road that led from the port up to the center of the city. Today, so much silt has come down. It was a pretty poor port. And so much silt has come down the Cayster River that it's now another 3 miles. So it's a 6 miles total from the ocean to the city of Ephesus. The Roman governors of that area were required to enter Asia through Ephesus. Its main claim to fame was its great temple of Diana, also called Artemis. And the image of Diana was this many-breasted idol, and the worship in that temple of Diana was so wicked and indulgent that thousands of temple prostitutes were required. The philosopher Heraclitus declared that those who lived in Ephesus could not help but weep over the immorality that they saw around them. It was not the capital, Pergamum had that owner, but the governor lived there, and it was the largest city of the region. The New Testament gives us the spiritual history of Ephesus. The church was founded by Aquila and Priscilla. And shortly after they began their ministry there, an eloquent speaker named Apollos came to Ephesus, and Aquila and Priscilla helped Apollos understand more clearly the way of the Lord. The Apostle Paul went through on his second missionary journey, but it was on his third missionary journey that he stayed there in Ephesus for 3 years, the longest place recorded that he stayed on in any of his missionary journeys. On his return trip to Jerusalem, he had all the elders of Ephesus journey to Miletus for a brief time of exhortation and instruction, because he thought that he would never see them again. And he wanted this church, in which he invested so much of his time, to endure faithfully and to continue on, faithfully transmitting the gospel.